He also dramatically confirmed the release of Dajjal, the false Messiah, when he went with Umar Ra to meet with a Jewish boy named Ibn Sayyid, whom he suspected to have been Dajjal. The message that Dajjal was now released on earth was made quite clear when Umar sought permission to cut off Ibn Sayyid's head, and Prophet Alayhi al-Salam refused permission with the words, "If he is Dajjal, you cannot kill him. And if he is not Dajjal, then it would be sinful to kill him." Sahih Muslim. If Dajjal was now released, and so too Gog and Magog, then the implication would be that the last age, or the age of Fitan, commenced in the lifetime of the Prophet. After the change of Qibla, the door or window of opportunity for the Jews to earn divine mercy was now forever closed, and the greatest divine punishment would now commence. See chapter 12, sub-heading 7. Never again would the Jews ever qualify to inherit the Holy Land. The only time they would ever return to it to take control over it would be at that time when Gog and Magog have spread out in every direction, and have therefore taken control of the world in the world order of Gog and Magog. But that would be a part of the great divine plan through which the Jews would now be inflicted with the greatest divine punishment ever. Jerusalem in the Quran. By Imran N. Hossein. Part 1. Chapter 8. Jesus, the true Messiah, and Dajjal, the false Messiah. We shall confound their hearts and eyes in consequence of their previous rejection of this message, and we shall leave them in their obstinate rejection of this revealed truth, to wander in distraction or to live in a state of aimlessness and drift. Quran Al-An'am 6-110. I.e., we shall confound their Jewish hearts and eyes in consequence of their previous rejection of this message when, among other things, they rejected the Messiah, son of the Virgin Mary, Jesus the Messiah. Prophets of Allah Most High communicated to Banu Israel a divine promise to send to them a prophet who would be their prophet, who would be known as the Messiah, and who would rule the world from the throne of King David, alayhi al-salam. This, in fact, amounted to a prophecy of the return of the golden age of Solomon, alayhi al-salam. In 1 Chronicles 17:11-15, the prophet Nathan spoke to King David about the Messiah and called him the Son of David. And it shall come to pass, when your days have expired, and you must go to be with your fathers, that I will raise up one of your descendants after you, who shall be of your sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build for me a house, and I will establish his throne forever. I will be his father, and he will be my son, and I will not take my mercy away from him, as I took it from him that was before thee, but I will settle him in my house, and in my kingdom forever, and his throne shall be established forevermore. 1 Chronicles 17:11-15. Years later Isaiah added to this as follows: For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. He will rule the world. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end. He will rule the world eternally upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it, and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. Isaiah 9:6-7. Isaiah further wrote of him that, Behold my servant, in whom my soul delighteth, I have put my spirit unto him, he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment unto the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Isaiah 42:1-4. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Isaiah 49:6. While Jewish scholarship recognized these prophecies as pertaining to the advent of the Messiah, There are Muslim scholars who declare that the prophecies refer to the advent of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam declared that he, the Messiah, would be Hakiman Adil, a just ruler of the world. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's messenger said, "By him in whose hand is my soul, I swear that the Son of Mary will shortly descend amongst you as a just ruler. He will break the cross and kill the pigs, and abolish jizya, a punitive tax imposed upon Jews and Christians resident in the territory of Islam. Then there will be abundance of money, and nobody will accept charitable gifts." Sahih Bukhari. Two conflicting portraits of the Messiah. The Jews were very pleased to receive the news of this promised Messiah, but they were confused by the fact that there was a twofold picture that presented two conflicting portraits of him and his mission. The first was that of a conquering king who would restore the chosen people of Allah who, at that time, were the Jews to the Holy Land and would rule the whole world in peace. The second was a Messiah who was humble and suffering. The two apparently conflicting portraits were clearly depicted in Isaiah, who described the Messiah as a servant of the Lord who would prosper, be lifted up, and greatly exalted. "Behold, my servant shall deal prudently, he shall be exalted and extolled, and be very high." Isaiah 52:13. But he then went on in the very same breath to describe that servant as one who would be disfigured to the point that he would hardly look human, and thus one who would experience both exaltation and humiliation. As many were astonished at his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men. Isaiah 52:14. As unthinkable as it was, Isaiah prophesied that the servant would be struck on both back and face. He would be humiliated by being spat upon the face. Isaiah 50:11. This is precisely what happened to Jesus. A Christian writer, Hal Lindsey, comments on the event as follows and goes on to declare that it confirmed the prophecy in Isaiah 52:13 and 53:12. It is well known that this is the kind of treatment that Jesus received during the 6 illegal trials to which he was subjected. The officers and Herod's temple guard spat on Jesus' face after the Sanhedrin had condemned him. Then they blindfolded him and struck him in the face. A jagged crown of thorns was jammed down on his head, and he was cruelly whipped with the Roman scourge. It was a sadistic whip made of many strips of leather, to which pieces of bone or jagged metal were attached to make the effect more painful. Hal Lindsey, The Messiah. Harvest House Publishers, or 1982, pp. 108-9. Isaiah went on to identify the Jews as those who would persecute the servant of the Lord, the Messiah. He did so when he described the servant Messiah as the despised one, the one abhorred by the nation. Isaiah 49:7. Hal Lindsey points out that the noun nation is in the singular and not plural, and he goes on to protest dishonest translations of the verse. It's most unfortunate and dishonest that the Revised Standard Version of the Bible and the Jewish Soncino commentaries translate this passage to him who is abhorred by the nations. By translating nations plural, it makes it seem as though the Gentiles, who are always referred to as the nations, are the ones who despise and abhor the servant. The idea is fostered here that the servant is Israel, and she is abhorred by the Gentiles. While that may have been true in Jewish history, that particular fact can't be proved by this passage, because the word used in the Hebrew for nation is goy, and it is singular and can only honestly be translated as nation, which in this context refers to Israel alone. Lindsey, p. 109. Soncino, a certain Israel. Nathan B. Samuel moved to Soncino, a small town in the Duchy of Milan. There he set up a printing press for his son. And this was the beginning of the great firm of Joshua Solomon Soncino and his nephews, Moses and Gershom, attracting Abraham ben Hayim from Bologna. They produced the first complete Bible, the Soncino Bible of 1488, with vowels and accents, but without a commentary, as was the custom of the Soncinos. The Soncino brothers also were responsible for the 1491-93 Naples Bible, in which the vowel points and accents are better placed than before. Gershom Soncino moved to Brescia, where he produced the 1495 Brescia Bible, an improved edition of the 1488 Soncino Bible, but, more important, in small octavo format, making it a pocket edition specifically produced for the persecuted Jews, who, perpetually moving from place to place, found it difficult to carry the huge and costly folio Bibles. It was this edition which Martin Luther used when he translated the Bible into German, Jewish encyclopedia. Even as far back in time as Genesis, there was a prophecy of one through whom the rule of the world, first established with David alayhi al-salam, and Solomon alayhi al-salam, would continue. He was described as Shiloh. The scepter shall not depart from his son Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples. Genesis 49:10. This prophecy was interpreted to have not only declared the tribe through which the Messiah would come, but also to have designated Judah as the royal line for future kings. Rabbinic interpretation from ancient times recognized Shiloh as a personal title of the Messiah, and that it was here predicted that he would come from the tribe of Judah. The view of Muslim scholars is that Shiloh was Prophet Muhammad, alayhi al-salam. The confusion was confounded when unknown scribes corrupted the text of Isaiah to declare that the Messiah would not only be born as a child and hence be a human being, and would eventually rule the world, but that he would also be the mighty God. The corrupted text thus portrayed the Messiah as both man and God. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Isaiah 9-6. 2,000 years ago, when Allah Most High kept his promise and sent the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, to Banu Israel, he found them holding on to the external form of religion while woefully neglecting its internal substance. Even the external form was corrupted since they had changed it and rewritten it to suit their own fancies. When Jesus confirmed that he was indeed the promised Messiah, and when he fearlessly preached the internal substance of religion and denounced the corruption of the external form, some Jews accepted him and believed in him, but most of them rejected him. They still continue to reject him as the Messiah to this day. The Quran declared that they boasted at that time of having killed him by crucifixion. That they said in boast, we killed the Messiah, Jesus the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. Quran Al-Nisa 4-157. When they saw him die on the cross before their very eyes, it was conclusively confirmed to them that he was an impostor. They were convinced that he could not have been the Messiah, since the Torah itself had declared that whoever died by hanging was the cursed of Allah Most High. Deuteronomy 21:23. Secondly, he could not have been the Messiah because he died without liberating the Holy Land from the pagan Roman rule, and he did not rule the world from the throne of David, alayhi al-salam, Jerusalem. And so they kept on waiting for the Messiah to come. Every Jew who rejected Jesus, alayhi al-salam, as the Messiah and kept on waiting since then for the Messiah to come is indirectly implicated in the attempt to crucify him. This is so because their rejection of his claim to be the Messiah is linked to the death that they believe he experienced. But Allah Most High declared that the Jews were deceived into believing that Jesus alayhi al-salam was killed or crucified. And they killed him not, nor crucified him, but so it was made to appear to them, and those who differ therein are full of doubts, with no certain knowledge, but only conjecture to follow, for of a surety they killed him not. Quran Al-Nisa 4-157. Well then, what happened to Jesus, alayhi al-salam? The Quran has explained what happened. It has made 5 explanatory statements. Firstly, the Quran declared that the Jews did not kill Jesus, but they killed him not. Quran, Al-Nisa, 4-157. Secondly, it declared that they did not crucify him, nor did they crucify him. Quran, Al-Nisa, 4-157. Thirdly, it declared that Allah the Supreme reclaimed him, I took his soul. There are, in fact, two such statements in the Quran. And behold, Allah said, O Jesus, I will reclaim you, I will take your soul. The word used is wafat, and raise you to myself, and clear you of the falsehoods of those who blaspheme. Quran Al-Imran 355. And behold, Allah will say on the day of judgment, O Jesus, the son of Mary, did you say unto men, worship me and my mother as gods besides Allah? He will say, glory be to thee. Never could I say what I had no right to say. Had I said such a thing, you would surely have known it.